So hi guys, welcome back into another military video, and this time I'll be talking about the brief history of the British Army beret, that very famous, still used, worn item today. So, little backstory, before the actual beret itself was kind of created, the British Army, since the early 1900s, have been wearing a field service side cap. This example, is a typical field service side cap of the Second World War. Particularly, this one is dated 1941. Can you see that in there? Yep, so that's basically what the British Army would wear if they're not on active service, just walking around on leave or in their barracks, things like, if they're not wearing their steel helmet. So that's a field service side cap. But the British Army wanted to standardise all their troops with having a beret, because the Royal Marines had a green beret, the Airborne Division paratroops had a reddy maroon beret, and the tank drivers, the Royal Armoured Corps / Royal Tank Regiment personnel, would wear a black beret. So the British Army itself wanted to standardise on berets because, of course, their other elite units had their own berets, but the British Army, was wearing a field service side cap, so they didn't actually have a beret of their own. But October 1942 comes along, and the British Army decides to make a khaki drab beret, but they were only given out to members of the kind of support roles, reconnaissance corps, things like that. Like this one is to the reconnaissance corps, to a member in the reconnaissance corps, so that's a khaki beret. But these very famously went out of fashion by 1944, because by 1944 and 45 the British Army still wore field service side caps, but they wore, which I don't have one in the collection sadly, a general service beret. So just like the side cap, but it was a beret. It's generally used by all ranks, not all ranks, but most ranks of the British Army specifically. So the general service beret was the same thing as a field service side cap, but it, of course, it was a beret. So that's when kind of it starts, 1944, and the British Army officially adopts the beret, general service beret, which sadly goes out of fashion by 1948, because by 1948, khaki berets gone out of service, the field service side caps gone out of service, and what they bring out for the British Army, which the elite, the airborne, the tank troops, and the Royal Marines still wearing their specific colours and berets right through the 1950s, but through the 1950s, or starting in 1948, was you can kind of call it what military collectors and I call the midnight blue beret, or basically it's black, kind of a black beret, but it's got a hint of blue on it, like this type. So that would be worn right through the 1950s, a standard black infantryman's beret. This one is to the Gloucestershire Regiment, there, and this one's completely washed out, but it would most probably have said 1951, which is quite common to find on there. So yeah, British Army kind of went from a field service side cap, then to a khaki beret, but of course the khaki beret was only worn by specialist units like reconnaissance corps troops and scouting people like that. Of course the British Army itself was still wearing its field service side cap. Then, of course, 1944 comes along, the general service beret and the field service side cap both are worn, but most photos you see of them are wearing wearing general service berets in the time the British troops are pushing the Germans back to Berlin in late 1944, early 1945, so that's a general service beret. Then by 1948, khaki beret, general service beret and field service side cap are out of the window, and then come along in 1948 was the kind of midnight blue, dark blue, almost black, what was kind of called the National Service Beret with the British Army in the 1950s. But yeah, so thanks for watching guys, that's been a little quick brief military talk about kind of the British Army, specifically their berets, which of course berets, of course, still being used now. The military police wear a red beret, kind of, same as the airborne members, and yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and see you in the next video. Bye.